and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. And I make videos all about the journey of starting a candle business. And today's video, I am going to be breaking down as best as I can using my profit and loss statement, all the expenses that we spent in the year of 2023. So all of last year, how much we spent. Because if you haven't watched the video that I just posted an income video sharing my streams of income for 2023 and how much I earned from all of them. So total in 2023, we grossed $110,203.62, but we spent $65,461.29. So there's a bunch of different categories that I have. I'm not the best bookkeeper in the world, so some of these I was looking and kind of, the categories, I should have put them in other categories, but overall you kind of get the gist of it. So for advertising and marketing, this is kind of what I mean. So sometimes I put my Canva subscription in this category. So instead of putting it under the software and subscriptions, sometimes it will be categorized under the advertising and marketing. But that's also for my Fiverr. So I pay somebody on Fiverr to do photo editing for me for Photoshop. And then there's also, like business cards, candle care cards, things that I order from Vistaprint. That kind of all goes into the advertising and marketing. So that was $702.78. I also had $48 worth of bank charges and fees. I don't know. I feel like that's like if you don't have a certain balance at a certain time, and business bank accounts are a little bit stricter with how much money you can have in the account as a minimum before you get a charge. So it is what it is. I thought that credit unions would be a little bit better about that, but I think they kind of jumped on the bandwagon too with, how banks charge and stuff like that. It is what it is. I understand they have their rules, and I signed the papers to agree to it. So just $48 worth for the whole year. And then I also have cost of goods sold. So I used to have my own category that says candle cost of goods. But I realized on QuickBooks, there's actually already a cost of goods sold category that you can categorize things under. So I'm starting to do that for the year of 2024. I'm trying to categorize a little bit better for this year than I did the previous years. But that totaled out to $19,486.02. So, quite a bit of money spent on the candle business. Now, the thing about it, though, is that we did have leftover inventory left over. So basically what happens is when I do my taxes, I give my CPA all of this information, the profit and loss statement, but then I also give her the total value amount of what we had remaining from the inventory. And basically that just gets removed from the expenses. So you can't essentially write off supplies that you didn't use as a sold as a good for that year, if that makes sense. So you can't, if you bought, 24 cases of jars and you had, 15 left over at the end of the year, you can't write off that 15 jars. It kind of rolls on over into the next year. So that's what I learned when it comes to running an inventory-based business. And then beyond that, there is candles, tools, and supplies. I'm surprised this is so low, $54.99. I feel like that's, scales. I think that's probably what it is just some scales, maybe some of the, you can see back there, the fragrance oil, silicone cups. But even then, I think I probably just put that under office supplies. I started categorizing everything under office supplies, from shipping supplies to, just things that we use to make the candles and stuff like that. But now I'm starting to categorize that stuff under the job supplies category. So anything that is used on the job to make the candles, I'm categorizing that under job supplies for the year of 2024. So yeah, that was $54.99. So not a lot for that. And then filming/photo equipment was $535.48. So this is, camera equipment, replica surface boards, just stuff for product photography equipment. And then I think I also did also categorize some of the Fiverr expenses that I utilize for the Photoshop photos. I think there were sometimes I would categorize it under advertising and marketing, sometimes filming / photo equipment. Again, not spotless when it comes to categorizing, but you kind of get the gist of it. So total was a little over $500 for that. Insurance, $150. The only thing I can think of, and I think this is exactly what it is that sometimes when I'm paying for my business insurance, sometimes I'll do the monthly payment of $50. It's through Liberty Mutual. And sometimes when it gets to a certain amount, I'll just pay it off. So I think before the end of last year or before any time of last year, I had paid it off, the balance already. So I only had made like 3 payments of $50. So I think that's where that came from. And then for my Kajabi website. So Kajabi is the ericamarieMorris.com website. This is where I have my digital products. And I have a payment of $199 a month to keep that going. Plus, I also will sometimes purchase like things for the website as well. So the total for last year spent on that was $2,478. And then legal and professional services. So this was $2,120. Obviously, just doing your taxes, stuff like that. Different visits that I had with the attorney. She does my sales tax, all that kind of stuff. So that was, I think, I said attorney, I meant CPA. I did not have any business attorney fees last year, and that is a first in the last few years. I believe 2021 and 2022, I had like thousands worth to the business attorney. This year, saved money, didn't get anything done from the business attorney. Thank goodness. And then office supplies was a pretty big expense. Again, that's just everything that we utilize in here, from the light bulbs to the light in here to, the bags that we use, paper in the printer, the toner, everything that's in here that is part of the office supplies. That added up to $6,652.46. And then other business expenses. So this was $726.66. These were categories that I just didn't know where to put them. So for instance, I have my business mailbox that I pay for. That was an expense of $300 for the year. I also purchased a new Shopify theme as well. That was $425. So things like that I'm like, I didn't know where to put that as an expense. So that just got categorized under other business expenses. And then there's PayPal fees. So anytime that I make an income through PayPal, that there's a sale through PayPal, they take a small percentage of that sale. So the total fees for the year was $609.33. So much like Shopify, any platform that you are utilizing a transaction, there's like a transaction fee. So they're going to take money for that transaction. And then payroll expenses. So payroll expenses was $457.25. And I'm just looking to see what they categorize as the expenses. That must be like in order to run payroll, like have payroll, because I am an S corporation, so I have to run payroll on myself because I'm an employee of my own company. So every month I run payroll on myself. Once upon a time, Chris was a employee of Memory Box Candle Co., but we had to let him go because it was more expensive than what I thought. And now he just works side by side. Well, he does all of this, but just not under payroll. And then payroll taxes, $1,379. And then wages, I paid myself $14,000 as like the payroll wage. Obviously, I am able to write checks every month and deposit it into the account. That's not a payroll. And it's not, taxed the same way. So this is taxed a little bit differently. And then, so it just kind of added everything up. So total payroll expenses, $15,836.25. And then shipping, freight, and delivery. I totally forgot to mention this in the last video where I was kind of looking at, how much did I actually earn total from the candle business profit-wise. I forgot to include how much shipping labels would be. So this is all shipping labels. So this was a total of $6,142.66. So we're looking at whatever the total, I'll put it up right here. So whatever the total we earned in the candle business from all the local markets, retail online sales, and the wholesale that we earned, subtracting the cost of goods and then subtracting the shipping labels, and then the total kind of net profit from the business. And that's a little bit less, I think, than what I thought it was going to be, but still I'm happy with the numbers, and we just keep growing. So that's all that matters. And then going down to the Shopify payment. Now I'm hoping to get this number much lower for 2024 because I canceled my wholesale website. That was an additional like $40 or $50 a month. So I'm really hoping that for the year of 2024, I can get this number down. So Shopify payment of $1,173.02. And I also want to actually look into how much money I would save by just purchasing the year of Shopify instead of doing it by month. I'm going to see how much I can save. That's something that I've been wanting to look into to just pay for the year. And then softwares and subscriptions, this was $1,696.77. And I have different subscriptions from, email subscriptions to Zoho. I have Klaviyo, which is my email marketing, QuickBooks, Adobe Photoshop, Canva. I had a Typeform subscription for a little while. There's just a lot that, kind of gets added up together. So quite a bit in subscriptions for the year for the business. And then taxes and licenses. So this is including estimated payments for the year. And also because I'm an S corporation, I do have to pay $800 a year to the state of California. So that is all encompassing in this price. So this was $5,529.89. And then the last little bit right here is the vendor booth fee. So we spent $1,518.98 to be a vendor at all of the different vendor events for 2023. And then I also have other income as refunds. This was, I don't know, it's a refund category. It's kind of a part of, if I spent money on a business expense and then it didn't work out. Like for instance, I purchased some off-brand ink and, it didn't work in the printer. So I had it as business expense. I got a refund for it. It looks like other income, but it's a refund. So that was $370.73. And then, maybe a refund on something else, but yeah, just a very small amount of the extra income. It's just the way that QuickBooks does it for the profit and loss statement. So the total net income for the year, $45,113.06, keeping in mind that the $14,000 in wages technically is added to that because of the fact that, I'm getting that money, but it's still a business expense. It's kind of weird the way that works, right? So this is the total amount. I would love to actually make a video and sit down and compare the last 3 years. I would love to do the last 4 years in business, so do 2020 all the way through 2023. But I didn't categorize and have 2020 the way that I do with the past few years because I had the QuickBooks Self-Employed version and now I have the QuickBooks Online version, and this is able to categorize so much better. The other version, you were able to just do either personal or business expenses, and that's all you could categorize it for. This one, you can really break it down, and I love breaking it down like this because I like to visually see where I'm making the most money and where I'm spending, if it were to just be income and expenses, I would have zero clue because there's so much coming in and going out from different sources. So being able to look at everything all, broken down like this is really helpful for me. So maybe I'll do a video of just kind of, comparing the different years on different expenses and different incomes and seeing the differences if you'd be interested in that. But with that, I am going to end today's video right here. I hope you enjoyed seeing how much money I spent and where I spent that money. We are still in growth mode for the business, so the expenses are still going to be quite high. I would say for the next maybe couple years, while we're trying to get more into like the profit mode of really trying to just make as much profit as possible. Obviously, we're trying to make as much profit as possible, but because we're growing, we do have to spend a lot of money because we're buying things in bulk. So the more you buy in bulk, the more you're spending at once. And that's just kind of how it works for business. So, but with that, I am going to end today's video right here. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave it a big thumbs up as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at MemoryBoxCandleCo. And I will see you in my next video.